So next up for the panel discussion on customizing benefits for different generations, one size doesn't fit all. For this, I would like to introduce our moderator for the session, Mr. Biswa Dipak Tripathi, Business Head Pan India Onsurity. Biswa Deepak Tripathi, a seasoned profession with 19 years of diverse experience in banking, insurance, startups, SMEs, spanning various corporate sectors. With a strong background in business expansions, sales, and strategy, Biswa Deepak holds a B.Tech in electrical engineering and MBA in marketing and is an alumnus of IIM Indore. Currently heads the business expansion of SMBS in the Indian market for Onsurity, a cutting-edge fintech or insurtech startup. Onsurity focuses on delivering affordable employee healthcare solutions to SMEs and startup. Following the moderator, I would like to introduce our panelist, Ms. Poorna Pushkala, Group Head Corporate Strategy, Samunnati, Mr. Bharathan Prahalad, Vice President Human Resource, Msys Technologies, Mr. Indwin Edwin Joel, Senior Manager People Development, Anubavam, Mr. Sasikumar, Chief People Officer, Grootan Technologies, Dr. Purushothaman S., Group Chief Human Resource Officer, Precision Group. Can we have a huge round of applause for moderator and all our panelists?
Good morning, all. Today we have very interesting topic, customizing benefits for different generation. One size does not fit all. So just to deep dive into the topic, today in our organizations, we have Gen Zs, Gen Z, we have baby boomers. So different type of force we have in our organization, and the expectation from the job is different. To get into this insights, today we'll have a 30-minute session with all of us to understand what exactly is the need, and 10 minutes we'll have a question and answer round with all of you. To start the discussion, so what will be the top priorities of different generations in your organization, and one benefit that helps? Anyone?
I think the first one is the flexible options, maybe a remote work or a hybrid model that applies across generations, which will allow them to manage both their personal and professional lives.
Okay. Any other perspective?
Okay. I would say that it depends on the organization culture and the kind of people what you have in the organization. And since I've worked in IT industry for last 27 years with IT industry, now currently with the manufacturing, when you look at the IT industry, you have lots of Gen Z, and your policy and procedures needs to be very clear, and they expect everything to be transparent. And in the current generation, that is what the expectation what people have got. Whereas in the current organization, I work for a company called Precision Group, where you have predominantly, I interact with the boomers. Yeah. And the boomers, what we try to look at is, and we retain them, the reason behind it because of the knowledge what they carry, and we make sure that they are playing a role of a mentor for the Gen Z and the millennials, so that helps us to grow. And the expectation from the the boomer on general benefits perspective, when you look at it, they try to look at what is the retirement benefit, what we have in the organization, and they also try to look at what are the safety measures which is available to take care of themselves. We also go ahead, try to provide them a driver and so on, because the first and foremost thing is safety is more important. So we try to give that as one of the benefit for them. And they don't look at flexi and other things. Your Gen Z try to look at, they don't, even some people, Gen Z, try to look at flexi, whereas your boomers don't look at your flexi and on. They try to look at what are the retirement benefits, what is there, and what is your medical insurance coverage, what you have. And you'll be really surprised when I was working with Alsec Technologies, and the youngsters don't even look at your insurance coverage, what you try to provide. And they try to look at what is that is coming in their paycheck. And you try to call up in different form and saying payout, they don't even look at it. And what we started looking at, changing our environment in the way how we approach is, they try to look at what is the benefit, what is coming in as on today. And they try to visualize saying that it is the lifespan is going to be really short. That is where they try to look at it. And if something is not really attractive, and they move on. And before that, you need to capitalize and you try to retain them. And all your policies and procedures and systems should be revolving on those lines. And you cannot have one single policy for across all the levels of people. And that is really a challenging, and that is not practically possible. And so this is what I would suggest as of now. Thank you.
So I think he's pretty much covered everything, but as far as my experience goes, we are truly a multi-generational organization. Our business model, like we work in the agri space, so we work with very senior retired bankers to, just pass out graduates. I would say, while of course, the point is valid that people appreciate flexi timings, people appreciate, some part of them appreciate stability. They, of course, the youngsters look at only what is the take-home pay, right? They are not bothered about rest of the benefits because cash in hand matters more because I know how I can handle my cash. I deal with stock market, so I don't need your PF and pensions and all your long-term plans I don't need. I know how to manage my money better because that's how they get into the organizational culture. But what truly I would say is definitely one size does not fit all, but at the same time, a company cannot personalize policies for so many generations. So there will have to be a lot of headroom to play around with. So, the same application, let's say a learning and development, make it available as a bite-sized module on mobile for the younger generation so they can handle it on commute, like how they would watch a Netflix. While for the elder generation, make it accessible on a laptop and give them stability, like, a 30-minute session with, a possibility to engage and interact. Like that, even when it comes to insurance, the younger generation would appreciate more on-call support, telemedicine, counseling, options which are applicable on apps, so I can relate to the health and fitness apps that I have. But for the elder generation, give them the same thing in, physical mode, where they can go redeem coupons and, enjoy the same facility. So I would say, every module remains the same, but how do we expand the scope, make it relevant for someone who's just fresh out of college, but make it at the same time relevant for a very senior person as well, who has seen, much more stable, very clearly articulated step-by-step procedures. So there's a lot, right? Across every employee life stage, the policy cannot be changed for generations. The policy will remain the same, but how do we administer the policy? What kind of options that we can introduce in the policy to make it relevant? Like flexi timings, right? There is an office timing, but inside that, give headroom for people to manage their deliverables and things like that. So I'm sure we are going to discuss more. I stop here.
So thanks for your input. So taking a clue from you, so you are trying to tell that we have different approaches for different workforce generation. So can you give any one example where you see one technology or a benefit that has benefited that particular group? You can take any Gen Z, you can take any baby boomer. You can just give me one example. You have done something beneficial for them and it really worked. Anybody?
I'll cite an example to that is, see, before we deep dive into the question, we'll have to understand how the HR has evolved. So when we look at the evolution of HR, we are incorporating from our industrial relations, how that evolution has happened and how HR has transformed. So HR has transformed from only a personal manager to a training manager, to a human resource, then the human resource development. From there, the transition has been as human capital management. And now, like we say, customer is the king. Now every human resource is, the resource to the organization is very critical. So what kind of a human experience we can give to our employees matters a lot. Because they are waiting for those experiences. There are different touch points to that. From your recruitment till your offboarding, there are touch points. So in that, I'll give site example from my current organization is, we have a mix of generations working. So we have senior people who are like, who have completed, our organization is 16-year-old. We have people who have completed more than 10 years in the organization. And we also have the young generation coming into the workforce.
The Gen Zs.
So, the Gen Zs. So what challenge we have is, the connect between these two generations becomes a challenge. So what we have done is, for our senior people who are there in the organization, we have put up a lot of better health provisions for them. The health benefits, like more health-related benefits, because they're looking at concluding their tenure in the organization, because they are around 50 to 60 in that, so they will concluding their employment with us. So we're looking at a better health services for them. A post-retirement plan options we are facilitating for them. We're also looking at a better financial planning for them. A lot of people have not done a proper financial planning. So we have connected them across with financial planners for a better retirement options. For the Gen Zs, we have given them a banquet of options which they can choose from. We had few cases where during the COVID period, we had given a Practo subscription to the employees.
Okay.
So the Gen Zs were the more users, if you look at the utility for that. The senior generations, they prefer going to a hospital and going for it. But the more utility was from the latest generation, the Gen Zs, that they had overutilized, and we were happy that whatever thing we can give it to them, they were making use of it.
Okay. Any other perspective?
Gen Z, for especially in my organization, we have an app that provides both physical and mental resources. For physical, we used to conduct on a monthly basis. We do steps count. We show a leaderboard where most of us want to walk more. So that's the way we improve on the physical part. On the mental health side, we do have resources, and they also have an option to speak with the counselors, and if they need any support. I think Gen Z is the one who is using that in a very effective way.
Just building on that, right? Yeah. What I was telling earlier, what we have done is the same thing, right? Everybody needs some kind of a mental well-being approach and some plan. So we have made available 4 or 5 avenues possible. So somebody wants to do meditation in the office. We have made 1 day in a week and a dedicated slot for that possible. So people who prefer, they go take. But we also have subscribed to a wellness app, which the others can make use of. And there are these same meditation, but conducted on a 5-minute, 10-minute, like a module, where, I just have to jump in, jump out of the call, and it caters to some generation. But I think the important question that we need to address is, we are talking about Gen Zs, right? But what's going to happen is, the current kids who are in the school, right? We have to prepare the field for them. And they do not even have the same level of patience or the attention span that what we say the Gen Zs have. So a lot of it is, going to be future oriented. And I think while it's, the elder generation perhaps are fading out, they are now actually wanting to approach and adopt the mobile technology as much as Gen Z would do. So one thing that we should not do is stereotype. Make all options available, give it, and then let them decide what they want. Because I can tell you, in the physical meditation session, I have a 20-year-old also sitting and doing the meditation. It's not like all 20-year-olds want only things on the app. Whereas I have a 60-year-old person who says, where is the app? Why are you still doing a paper-based system? Why are you still wanting me to send an email, right? So I think we should never stereotype and say, this generation, and these labelings are all good identifiers, good academic material. But I don't think, we should bring that label into the organization environment and say, hey, you are in this generation, so this is for you. You are in this generation, this is for you. Because especially post-COVID, right, people have started searching for purpose. Passion starts playing an important role than, they're looking for alignment. My personal passion versus what the organization is serving. So there's no point in, I think, stereotyping generations. And all of us have started adopting technology, and we are welcoming it in one form or the other. Though it may still, the preferences may still belong to a particular generation. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I think you want to add something?
Yeah. One of the thing, what we were doing in the earlier organization with Alsec Technologies is, initially the R&R framework was more of manual format what we had. And after looking at the expectation of Gen Z and the kind of the options and what they were looking at, we had to go ahead with an automation. And this was helping us to open up, as the colleague was talking about rightly. And these are a set of people who would like to have lots of options, and you cannot push their options. Whereas when you're talking to a millennial, if you say this is what is available, they go ahead, take it up. And whereas your Gen Z, they would try to look at what is your next point is going to come in with. What is your option 2, option 3, and option 4? And you'll be really surprised they will not go with the option 1, they will try to go with the option 4. Looking at these kind of format, in the current scenario, what we have done is, I was also talking to Biswa just a couple of minutes back. The current generation, the Gen Z, since we are losing a couple of people, which is some of the guessing is more of knowledge-based industry. And if we lose some of the people like design engineers and so on, and also the manufacturing people in the industry, they open up their own shop and market is really big, and they would try to act as a competitor over a period of time. Now, what we try to do is we try to collaborate with them, we invest on them, and we help them to open their own shop. And we also invest, and they would try to work as a vendor for us. And it's a kind of investment what we try to do with those set of people. And it's more of mutual win-win situation what we try to work with. Because at the end of the day, you need to work with a vendor at any given point of time. And these people would try to support you. And they understand the culture, and they understand what is really required. So it helps the organization to grow a bit faster.
So, Biswa and team, sorry, I was actually not supposed to make it.
No. We are thankful that you have made it.
No. I was managing an emergency at work, and some of the Gen Zs helped me make it here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I have great respect for Gen Zs, millennials. I think they're an amazing group of people. Unfortunately, I think saw Palki Sharma's recent, news, this thing. She was sharing what she thought, what the industry thinks, that people are letting go of Gen Z and millennials because difficult to manage. I think what we are trying to do is, put a round peg in a square hole. You can't manage them with fear and control, like how we did manage people in the past. They don't respond to threats. They just put in their papers, right? So they don't have any financial burden like the ones that we had when we grew up. We all came from very humble backgrounds. So their social setup is very different. They are not looking for so much for money as much for challenge. So even the benefits that you are trying to put, it should be challenge-based, right? Fitness, wellness, and all of that. When it is challenge-based, instant-based, on the floor, you get a lot of response, great engagement going. And there are some things that cut across as common between all generations, Gen Z, that is health. So I keep telling my kids, right, if there's two things that you should focus if you want to be successful in life, it's not money, career. The market will ensure you earn enough money. Your peer levels will put enough pressure on you, right? I think the most important thing is being a good human being, because it's like karma. You treat people well, it comes back to you. That is one thing. The second thing is health. You have only one body. So I think even as a company, you've got to marry your entire benefits to the culture you want to create, right? So this is the behavior I want on the floor. What kind of benefits am I giving? Simply, am I putting a gym up there when people are even refusing to take the staircase? Sometime back, somebody asked me, hey, BP, can we have a gym in office? I said, yeah, we can have a gym, but I see you waiting in the queue for taking the lift, right? When the staircase is free. And nobody is challenging you to climb the stairs in X number of seconds or minutes. You can take your own pace. So the commitment is zero. If you take the percentage of people using the gym in any of the corporate gyms, it's below 3%, 2%. So it's just a fad, right? You take the picture, then you put it and go to campus interviews. You say, we have a gym here, as though they're going to come and work out, right? So you've got to slowly instill and encourage things on the floor. And you've got to say, this is what we stand for as an organization. And then it has to get reflected in everything you do. And benefits are also a part of that.
So taking a clue from your point, clearly that the Gen Zs or the different workforce are looking at certain amount of benefits. And the benefits, when it is integrated with health, that helps. So what should be the approach of an organization to provide? Like, I can just start giving a clue, saying that is gym, doctor consultation, or it's maybe the health checkups, or maybe as told by her, counseling sessions for employees. So what should be the approach of an organization for this different generation workforce?
See, recently somebody called me from, and I'll allow my colleagues, my friends here to speak and share their views, right? Recently somebody from NHRD called me, said, BP, we want you and your team for the Welcon, wellness conference. I said, awesome, right? I said, where is it being conducted? I said, Grand Chola. And then speakers were nice. Speakers were really good speakers, doctors, really good speakers, right? But I said, you're doing the same shit, right? Right, sorry to use that word, but that's the truth. You giving paneer tikka, paneer butter masala in a wellness conference inside Grand Chola. What is that? Any connection to wellness? So I said, why don't you actually have a walk from Besant Nagar Beach here in Chennai all the way to Marina? Just walk, boss. You don't even have to jog. Finish the walk, put on a dais, and you have these health foods or whatever there. And let fitness champions in companies, young folks or old folks, it doesn't matter about age, what they do is what matters. It's about wellness. So they completely miss the agenda. Trees for the forest and the forest for the trees. You know how much they charged for it? 3K. I said, I'll take my family for 2 movies with that. You're screwing up. I am serious about fitness. And you're screwing it up big time. And these are people who are supposed to be beacons. I'm so sorry, but I have a lot of friends in the NHRD, but they screwed it up big time. So coming back to what you asked is, what do the Gen Z want and stuff like that? Sometimes I think we go and outside too much. There are champions inside the company. How many counselors are we creating inside the company? There are cyclists in your company. There are fitness folks in your company. Make them champions. Let them come and counsel your folks. And reward people for using the health benefits lesser, not more. So somebody told me, HCL or some other company, we have a wellness center. I said, wellness means what? There is a nursing home or a hospital types and all. I said, that is a disease center. Hospitals have systematically, and the pharma mafia have systematically named it wellness. You don't go. Have you ever gone to a hospital or to a nursing home when you are completely fit and say, I am doing good? Doesn't happen, right? So how do you call that a wellness center? It is not a wellness center. When somebody is teaching yoga, somebody is doing Zumba, somebody is doing physical fitness, that is wellness. So now, this is the challenge with today, right? And companies suddenly they think, I give a free checkup. That's a big benefit. That's not a benefit. I connect you to 2 people who are good on fitness, 2 people who are good on diet, 2 people who are good in telling you how you can reduce your weight or stuff like that within the company, outside the company. That's wellness. So I think that is important, is how much you can propagate that, marry that to your culture, bring your own champions forward. I think that passion has to be inherent not only with HR, but overall with all the leaders in the company, and it should be top down, right? You can't have a CEO who doesn't work out, doesn't do anything talking about fitness or wellness. Doesn't work, right? Not with Gen Z. They'll openly tell you you're bullshitting them, right? So I think that is the key thing, is you differentiate wellness from disease management. And I think we have to be really blunt about it, because there's nothing more important than somebody's health.
Done. Thank you. Any other points?
I think just building on what he said, overall, right, in an organization, now the awareness has gone up. Especially post-COVID, people are not waiting for the organization to take an initiative, but how we can facilitate is by providing avenues to form clubs. Like for instance, we have a running group, right? There are people who are running, 6 kilometers a day, 10 kilometers a day. What they are doing is they're simply posting their everyday sprint posts. And it's a motivation, right? And slowly, steadily, what started out as a 12-member group is now a 40-member group. Does everybody run? No. But these 40 members keep talking, right? In their circles, they keep talking, saying, Arey, this person's pace has today picked up. This has now happened. And how do we consciously make minor switches in the cafeteria, right? So we have white sugar, but we have also kept, the jaggery sugar, not the brown sugar, but the jaggery sugar. We also give people the option of green tea along with a regular milk tea. So, somebody there will be there, hovering around and say, Arey, why are you having this? Try this. And then now slowly, our tribe of having green teas and black coffees have improved. Is it good? There will be another debate that will open up, but definitely much better than having 4 spoons of sugar in a very traditional thick milk coffee, right, when you are in a sitting job. And again, just building on what he said, these things come from within. These don't come from outside, because outside I can bring one enthusiast. They will address, today I'm all bummed up, but tomorrow I go back to my routine. But when I create those avenues inside the workspace, and it appeals everybody equally. So it's just an example from our yesterday conversation, Diwali season, right? Everybody receives gifts. There's this particular team which we all know, the banking relationships team, they will normally receive more gifts than the most. They were very consciously giving out only dry fruits to the entire bay. The other sweets were like, how can we discard it? They were not even talking about distributing it inside because their boss, like what you said, he's a fitness enthusiast. He's one of the champions. So this entire team is now very conscious. So they are not looking at all those ghee sweets as something that needs to be devoured, but they're thinking, how can I now keep my colleagues away from it and bring more dry fruits and nuts into the mix. So these take time, and it's not just something that HRs can own up, organizations can own up. It has to come from across, and society plays a larger role. So,
thanks. So understanding the 2 points what you both have told, creating internal champions, motivating others' achievement like in the fitness, that will motivate all the workforce in different generation. So taking a clue from that, today if you see, the Gen Z's, the communication style is totally different. Sometimes you get a message that today I am on leave. This is a very decent way of telling you that I am on. So today I'm planning to work from home. I am on leave. So if you see 10 years back when we started our career, asking this question to boss was a difficult question. Should I write, today I'm not feeling well, so can I work from home? Or today I'm not feeling well, can I take a sick leave? But today it's just drop a message in the WhatsApp saying that I'm on leave. In fact, they don't apply in the HRMS also. So this also a very crucial point for all of us. What should be the communication style for different generations? In your organizations, how you tackle it?
One is, for a certain set of person group of people, we have certain WhatsApp groups where people try to, as you rightly said, nowadays it's not a permission, it's just an information. Yeah, those days are gone where we used to just send across a message to our boss saying that, can we take a leave today? And based on the approval, then you try to act on your other plans. Nowadays, just an information which comes in the morning saying that I'm off today. And they don't even talk about what are the deliveries which is supposed to be done today and what is pending as of now. It is up to us to manage those aspects. So, but still, there are certain, unless and until if you are able to make them realize what is supposed to be delivered, I'm telling you, they would be able to stretch and get that work completed, and then they're taken off. So that is the kind of discipline which is there. But you should make sure that it is interesting to them. If you are not able to drive that, if they don't feel that it is not really interesting, if the job what you are trying to talk about is not interesting, they walk out. They don't even respond, they walk out. And that's the kind of situation what we are in, and we need to live with it. And systems are there, and that's one reason we also have a mobile app where people can apply for leave.
Yes.
And first and foremost, they send a message, then the next day after they resume, they try to apply for leave. And here, you're not also supposed to call them up. If you need to have some clarifications or question, you are not supposed to call them up. So that discipline needs to be maintained. But they also respect the same thing with us also.
Just to add to you, on a lighter note, so there was a Gen Z, he joined the company, and I was a part of the orientation. So he just asked, what are my leaves and all. So he told, you have 12 days of casual leave, you have 15 days of privilege leave. So he told, can I take a leave tomorrow? Then he just asked, why casual, hai na? Why you have to ask? So today's generation is like that. When it is a casual leave, why you are asking a reason for it? And it's a privilege leave, I'm entitled to take it. So that type of a mindset is today. And if you see the way we have worked for last 10 years, 15 years, things are changing. So rightly pointed out by him that if you see today, 10 years back, you don't have an app to apply for a leave. Thanks to COVID time, all the organizations have changed. There is an app now for attendance, and it takes the geotagging. So this type of things have changed. The young generations are looking at that, can I work from a cafeteria? Until I am getting my work done, why I have to come to your office? Actually, we have to think through that. Actually, what exact the questions are. The questions are very, 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 very defining. Till I'm doing my job, why I have to come to office or anywhere I can work. So this type of things are actually slowly opening up the workforce to be, the old people generally feel that they come to the office and they feel like working. The young generation feels like anywhere I can work. So taking a clue from that, if you see today, lot of people are actually planning to have a on and off the office? Like, do you plan these things that this many people will come to office every day or people can work from home? This type of strategies are you implementing? During the COVID, we have a lot of such strategies. But as of now in the industry, how it is works in your industries?
So actually we have a system. If people want to take work from home, we ask them to apply on a previous day because we also provide lunch to them. So we need count. So if so we have a system. If people wants to take work from tomorrow, they need to apply before day 7 p.m. That is the cutoff time. Apart from that, they also intimate their supervisors. Via supervisors also, we will come to know that these many people are going to take work from home. Yeah.
You wanted to add something?
It depends on the nature of the work, what each and every individual is doing. In some of the areas, to be open, we will not be able to do a work from home. And some areas, we can try to do a work from home. And some of the areas, department, we can try to do a flexi working hours. The current generation would expect something like a flexi working hours and a work from home. And they don't want to come to the office unless until it's really mandatory and required. Because the reason kind of experience after the COVID what we had, the moment when we started telling the employees to report to the office, we had a hell of a lot of resignations coming and piling up on HR desk actually. And we had to sit and sort it out, trying to find out why and how it is happening. And the moment when we started looking at a deep dive, and then we came to know that from his reporting manager has been informed saying that he or she needs to report to the office. So that's the kind of situation what we were in. And so the flexi hours is really required. That is what people appreciate, and work from home. And they don't mind weekly once or twice coming to the office, but not on a daily basis. That's the kind of expectation what they have.
I guess largely depends on the industry, right? I represent part NBFC and part trading industry. We can't afford to have a luxury of everybody working from home because there's a lot of documentation and internal collaboration that needs to happen, which is more effective at office. But, there are two parts to this question, right? So one, what are we trying to accomplish? If we are a delivery-oriented culture and we have a particular TAT to be maintained, then we should just leave it to the managers to decide how they want to manage their teams. HR should give larger frameworks and just stay slightly away from the day-to-day management of a particular team, right? Because what holds good for one team does not hold good for another team within the same company, within the same vertical also, right? So my take is, combination, make them very clearly understand their job, their responsibilities, tell them what their entitlements are, but also at the same time hold them accountable to the tasks at hand. Information come in the morning, right? And if somebody is sick, why should they elaborate why they are sick, how they are sick? Gone are the days. Why even a manager should know? The manager is not a doctor, right? So why do we want to, there are still HRMS systems which asks for attach a prescription. Why? Why should an employee's privacy be invaded, right? So I have a controversial view on that. Having said that, there cannot be a, one-size-fits-all approach. This again have to be left to the respective functions to manage. But what largely helps is giving broader contours on expectations and when it's a discipline breach, when it's okay, and what kind of flexi timings, and when it's a non-negotiable that, they cannot do something which is, outside the organizational, maybe even a cultural purview, right? I think those are the things that we should give guidelines and indicators, and that's where the induction plays a larger role, and ongoing communication and reinforcements play a larger role. We shouldn't be micromanaging time or leave, and not just with Gen Zs or millennials. I'm saying any generation. Just trust them to do their job, but make it known that this is your job. If we lack in telling them this is your job, then yes, all these other tools are required.
Thank you. You want to add something?
Yeah, so my thing is we are in the world of OKR, objective and key results. That's what matters, right? I keep telling the team, you will be an HR team where your CEO will have absolutely no respect for you if you don't talk business. You don't walk business, you don't think business, you lose value. You won't know most of the time because you'll be sitting in the HR bay and then doing your job, thinking that your job is very important because it's not. Because you're not thinking business, right? And that is the same thing, millennial, Gen Z, doesn't matter as long as they get the job done. I'll share an incident here. There was an employee who was called by his manager, and the manager came to me and said, this guy is supposed to be working from home, but I could hear the sound that he is in a theater watching a movie. And I told him, and why should that bother you, right? Because I am basically, I think slightly differently. And he was surprised. He said, you think it's okay? I said, I don't care. All I'm bothered about is, did you really set him something challenging to do? And how is he doing it? What is his performance trend? Let's talk about that. And then he looked at me, and so there is this mindset saying that somebody is working from home or somebody is this, that person is like a slave to me. It's not, right? What is committed to you is what is important, not who is committed to you.
Deliverables matters more.
Deliverables matter more than the person delivering. I don't care about the person delivering. For all I care, they must be in Bermuda, having coffee at home, chatting with his kids, whatever. He must have completed it in 2 hours straight. And then time is his, what to do. He wants to develop himself. He wants to go and attend a training program. Whatever he or she wants, they should be able to do. That mindset, that is leadership maturity. That is very, very important, like she rightly said. Micromanagement at any level will throw you out of the window as we are talking in the age of AI. Now, yesterday somebody shared a video on a HR leaders WhatsApp group that I run, saying that how Starbucks is using AI to find out productivity on the floor, who's making more cups of coffee. So one job is gone, supervisor's job is gone. Leader's job is still there, only if the leader inspires. If the leader doesn't inspire, so the people in Starbucks will be thinking, let me take the total amount of supervisor salary across the globe that we are paying. It's a huge amount.
So coming to one more point, if you see the financial management side or the retirement planning, so in our organizations, are we doing differently for the workforces? Because as told by him also, that people are looking more on a cash component, few people are looking at a ESOP component, people are working on equity component. So different angles to different generation of workforce. So any approaches we are doing differently for them?
See, I'll take it this way, like, first thing is, our panel has already given a lot of pointers, like, the management, the leadership team has to facilitate what would be the process and what would be the culture. So no size can fit anyone, and every organization will have to have its own difference detailing to that. So next thing is, I'll connect it with the Maslow's theory of needs. Every generation has different needs, the psychological needs, the self-actualization and everything. And another thing what we need to look at is, what is our need, what is our want, what is our desire. So if we can map these things for each generations as per their value proposition, every organization has an employee value proposition. So that has to be mapped with these things so that every generation is looked into it, and we give that experience to all of our employees. So if we look into this, we'll be able to match it to the generational workforce.
Any approaches or any style we are doing?
Yeah. One is your millennium and your boomers would definitely look at something, what is going to be for the future. And they try to look at what is the future for next couple of years or so. And they try to have a vision of next 20 years or 30 years, what's going to be looking at for them and for their family members, okay? You got to look at how you're going to address that. And in that case, your medical coverage, which you're talking about, or benefits which you're going to be giving it to them, it should be more on the retirement benefits and so on. When you're talking about your Gen Z, and their visualization is more of a next 1 year or 2 years, nothing beyond that. If you're going to talking about a retiral, and they don't care damn about it, yeah? They would say that, why is that I'm worried about retiral? I'm only bothered about tomorrow, what's going to happen to me, yeah? So that's the kind of short sight what they have. It's not because of short sight. I would say that that's how they have been brought about. That's the kind of culture what they're living with. And the kind of changes which is happening in the environment. It is so fast. So they are also looking at the same format. And what they are talking about today will change tomorrow. Yeah, maybe the interest in something is like going to gym will be interesting to him as on today. Tomorrow he will pick up doing a cycling. Yeah. And it's because of your peer pressure which is happening. And they are open to their social media so much, and they are getting influenced. Assume that if I'm going to be putting across a cycling picture in the social media, and I get influenced, and I pick up and doing cycling for some time, and assume that I'm trying to do a gymming tomorrow. This is what influenced them, and they change the pattern. So you don't have a one single solution as of now. You got to look at what is really interesting. And as we were talking about, for some people it is yoga is interesting. For some it is Zumba, and some it is gymming, and for some it is your racing, cycling, and so on. So you got to look at what are the other things, what is really required for them, which some of the things we are also missing out. The current generation, we would be trying to miss out certain things which we are not able to think through. Because we had a solution of, in the our previous organization, we used to hire lots of Gen Zs in the organization, and used to have millennial managing those set of people. That was not working out. And the wavelength was absolutely see difference. And we had to hire a millennial to manage set of people to have a wavelength, to understand what language what they're talking about. That was helping us to change our system and policies. And which also help us to change the dress code policies for the organization. And to start with, we had a dress code policy which is more of Monday to Friday was a routine, formals, and so on. And they don't even care about the dress code. And that's the kind of change what they expect. And you cannot confine them to one single box or one single format. So that's what they would come out with.
So just to add on, like, each generation has its own priorities, right? It is shaped by their stage in life, career aspirations, and personal circumstances. For example, baby bloomers may choose retirement planning, while Gen Z and millennials might go for career growth or mental health support. So the key is to gather insights based on the employee feedback or focus group discussion, which will allow us to identify what matters most to different groups. Based on the data, we should design that flexible benefit package where employees should have an option to choose what is most relevant to them instead of forcing everyone into a single force model. That's my take.
Just building on it, because you brought the topic of finance, there are few things that the organization has to ensure is mandated also, that there is a minimum cover. Because, some people may be short-sighted, some people may want more cash in hand. We cannot not give them that cover, right? So like, for example, term life. We have taken a stand that a minimum cover of X lakhs in double digits is mandatory at every level, right? They cannot say you don't pay the premium and give it to me as cash, because we are seeing instances where, this comes in handy for the family. Same way as medical cover, we give the base coverage and then we say, here are all the top-up options. You can pay and take. If you don't want to pay, then, this is how your compensation structure gets realigned. Like that, in the compensation structure, we have a special allowance with a flexi basket. There's a whole lot of allowances within the income tax purview to choose from. We don't mandate saying, this is how your uniform allowance should be, this is how your fuel allowance should be, this is how your mobile should be, because there are things that, the income tax allows, and you give it to them and then make them know. And now, there are softwares, right? Give the technology tool to them. Our payroll software gives the comparison between a flexi regime and the normal regime. Until last year, it was very important. And we gave people one option to switch over, because I may have made a decision at the beginning of the year for lack of clarity. Then we give one more option to, switch over. So these kind of awareness and flexibility is what matters. Like, somebody may be very short-sighted and say, I'm not looking for a parental cover. But the moment they hear someone's parent is sick, they will go home, discuss, and then they will come and say, hey, can I take a top-up for my parents? So do you have a provision where it can be done? Not many insurers will provide. So, how do we create that awareness and say, you have a window open for only 60 days. In the 60 days, create, push the information as much as possible, and then leave it to them to decide, right? Like, for example, a parental cover, today a 20-year-old may not appreciate. But the moment they realize that, someone has a problem and that their original cover doesn't cater to it, will cover. Whereas, you look at somebody who's a 50-year-old in the company. They have no business doing the parental cover, right? They will say, can I cover my unemployed child? But no policy will cover. So again, what matters is understanding and giving that flexibility, but a range to operate and choose from. So we do that, the flexi option works very well for us, both for compensation, insurance, office timings. For everything, this flexi, pick and choose what you want, works very well.
So if I summarize this, so it will be people like the baby boomers, they understand this, the planning they have done, and in that stage of life, they understand these things. But whereas a Gen Z need to be given that knowledge that how to do a tax planning, how to save tax, or what type of what she was trying to tell, ki if a team member is only covered, we can give an option to cover the parents or siblings. So that type of thing should be told to them. Then once they understand, then they pick it from there. You want to add something?
Yeah, so just some of the simple things sometimes we miss. She said these wonderful points. It's very important actually. The other thing is also, millennials and Gen Z come in, they, after a period of time, they start looking up to a few people in the company, right? Some people inspire them, right? So that's the opportunity for HR to use those people as champions and say, share your own story. How did you start your career, right? How did you do your finance planning, right? What were the challenges you faced early in your career? Things that you would avoid right now and you would tell them. This is quick adoption methods. Okay, low effort, high impact, right? On an effort impact axis. So some of those things, I think we should not miss out. But all the other things she was saying is absolutely valid, right? It's just that sometimes what he was also saying, people don't know the importance of that. And only when they actually are in that situation, suddenly, but it's too late by then, right? So before that itself, if they can learn from senior folks in the organization.
So maybe a coaching type or a role model type or a buddy system.
Just
Gen
just
Zs
a
are buddy
mentor,
system.
right?
Communication mailers. What works well for us is communication mailers. Keep pushing information, publishing testimonials. Sometimes, testimonials may feel like, oh, HR is bragging about themselves. But then the testimonial, if you read, an employee is sharing their personal experience. It will help. I'm sorry, I just jumped in. There was an example where, an employee missed adding a newborn. Not that HR didn't do awareness. There is mailers that's going out. But then, this person missed adding a newborn. While, of course, there are conversations that you can have with somebody to get something. But suddenly, there was a hospitalization requirement. Then that person made it a point to talk to every single, new parent saying, hey, please get added. That's the leadership role that person took it as an initiative to say, I suffered. I don't want, you to suffer. So the moment you fix the name, please give the name and get the coverage done. So how do we create this? This will happen only with more awareness, more communication, more rigorous. Buddy system and all works, but then after some point of time, it fades off. But the institutional history that we create, the knowledge that we create, and something where I can go search, right? An internal Google is what will be more helpful.
It's creating awareness.
You can also have simple sessions like lunch and learn, right? Anyway, these folks always either order from Swiggy these days, Zomato, or they go out to eat. Hardly anybody brings from home these days, right? Those days have gone. So, but instead of having in the cafeteria, you can just convert a small conference room into their dining table, and then you have a lunch and learn session where two people share their experience. The funny thing is, and the interesting part is, the seniors will also learn in the process these people's thought process. So there's some reverse learning also happening during that time. That's the big aha.
So I will share, taking a clue from that, I'll share one incident. So I was sitting with a guy who just joined 2 days back. And I was just trying to find something on Zomato to get healthy for me. And that guy told me, there is no sugar, please, one restaurant is there. Then I told, how will I know that it's good or bad? He told, sir, just go and see the reviews. If it is 1,000 plus, that is trusted. I don't buy anything if it is not 1,000 plus reviews are there. So I learned from him saying that, okay, so when you want to try a new particular restaurant or shop, so you should go and see that 1,000 reviews, read it, sir, you will find it. So I was like, so every day you do it. He told me one more point. Every day I try new shop, a new restaurant, same food to get discounts. So there are 100 shops, every day they open in Zomato. You just go and buy from them. So automatically you get the discount. I told, okay. So I never tried. I was having from same restaurant every day. And these guys are so smart in that. So considering the time, so the forum is open for questions. You can just ask your questions and one of us will answer. Somebody can give the mic.
It's audible. Hi, I'm Nagesh from SL Energy from Nelluru. We are into thermal power project, having multiple different kind of manpower we are handling. My question is, compensation is definitely mandatory. Tangible and intangible also mandatory. Facilities to the all employees, that is also mandatory. And environment, workspace or facilities to be, that is also we have to provide. And we have a lot of fancy words. We talk about boomer, Gen Z, AI, so many things are coming up. Few days back, great place to work. Then previously, great resignation also there. So many fancy words comes these days. These are comes and go also. What I mean to say that these all generations, which are the generation, what you say about the human touch, that is important. Can you say something about this? Human touch and pulse of the employee. That is only the key to success for any organization, which I'm thinking. What do you say about you guys?
So for me, I 100% agree with it. And in fact, that's why, I keep saying, don't do the functional head's job. Leave the functional head to manage the people. While the function is called a human resource function, the role is not to manage people every day, but be there for the people, show them the care. And how do you show the care? By personalizing, by giving them contours to work with, and doing hyper-personalization wherever required. And knowing the pulse of the organization is very important. That's where, all those conversations, this lunch and learn, the facilitation sessions that we are talking about, creating smaller communities within the larger communities, everything is with a human touch. These are not automated. And here is where HR has to play a role, which is why I'm saying policies and frameworks, once you are done, you let it run automatically, independently by the respective leaders in the organization. HR has no business manning those policies. Amending, yes. But then the larger thing is conversation, connect and communication, creating communities.
So why I said human touch, I experienced very well. I think so many people are there, use cafeteria. I think all of the people use cafeteria. Mostly sit with one person or your loving person or the good person you're sitting with. I would suggest you want to get the data. Every day in 30 days, every day you sit with somebody, a different person. You'll get some data. You will understand what he's exactly thinking about your company or facilities or his department. You'll get that data. As a HR, I suggest you practice this for 30 days. 30 people, different. You'll get a lot of data. That's my suggestion.
Thanks, Harish. Point I want to add here is the human touch. It's something we do at Msys, where I work today. We had the R&R, rewards and recognitions. We redesigned it. And we had people picking up innovation awards. So we are a tech company, right? We are into tech products and services, both. So we decided the lady who sweeps the floor, right, and who keeps the tables clean and all that, is the reason why we are safely entering the office, right? She is as important as the CEO. So we included her in the R&R, okay? And we have a category called Service Champ introduced. So she stood on the same stage and got the same award that others got. I think that is human touch, saying people are important, dignity of work is important. We are not in a communist world. We don't pay the same salary for the CEO and that person. So we're still capitalistic. But at the same time, we should not miss out on dignity of labor, right? It was well received by everybody in management. So they were a little surprised when we suggested, but they were completely okay. So I think that is important. It doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, when you do those things, it is sending a message to the entire organization saying, that is how I have to treat this person. Instead of taking a 5-hour class about treating everybody equally, all you need to do is just do this. Automatically, people know where you stand.
Just to add, one point I want to add.
I'll also like to add.
You want to add, please? So there was a Boston Consulting Group, BCG Group. There was a test done exactly the word you used, the human touch. There were two groups, two sales groups. One was in north side, one was in the south side. And both KRAs are same for both the team. And thus, team strength was also same. So for 6 months, they left the team. And after 6 months, the South team was doing better and the North team was not able to do. The reason they found, the South team manager, who was managing who was the leader, so every time he asked, both of them will be the same time, how much you will do sales? This was the question by North leader. And the South team leader was, how will you do this number? What is the number you are going to do from North? The South was, how you are going to do this? So everybody, if you tell the employee what exactly he has to do and how to do, if you do the how word to it, it is easier. The human touch comes. The moment you put into AI, it will just do the analysis and give it to you. The moment you understand the process and what is the vision of that department, which is already aligned to the organization, will always do better. So human touch is always required. Whatever technology is there, whatever AI is there, one human has to manage that. So this is something to your answer. Thank you.
I'll add on is, Bharathan sir had given an example. In 23, we celebrated our 17th anniversary for our organization. So we had also gifted to the helping people. The housekeeping staff also received the cash, the long service award. So it was also in line with our employees. We have developers, we have general managers, but the category, we kept it same. So they were very happy to be on the stage to receive. So we made them feel important because every human is very important. I'll take it to that is, the HR has to be a human experience. So what personalization we can give it to each one is very important. Sir's example, I watch a lot of movies. So I'll take it like Munna Bhai MBBS, where you have Sanjay Dada explaining to the sweeper, you are very important. In Tamil, it is Kamal telling to the sweeper, your job is very critical. So how you personalize the experience for each of our employees is very critical, and we agree with you, sir.
Okay, adding on to the saying human touch, how many people in HR wishes your housekeeping or a security the moment you enter into the office? Yeah, people serve coffee to you, and how many people do that? And that's a human touch. We talk about starting from there. When you start with that, you will have a different reception from tomorrow. You will feel that that is what is the human touch, what we are talking about. When we are greeting, the moment when you are getting into the office, how many people have got a habit of wishing your colleague? And how many people must have gone and asked your colleague whether you had your breakfast, lunch, coffee, tea? How many people do that? The kind of busy world what we are into, we don't even talk about it. We only talk about business. We only talk about MIs, have you done this, have you done that? Have you ever spoke about how is your family first and foremost thing? How many people know about your family members and your team members? Not much. We try to shy away with it. And let's come to reality. That is what we are talking about, human touch. We talk about big jargons. Yes. But end of the day, that makes lots of difference for us. Thank you.
One question is there. Can somebody pass?
Hello. Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
Hi. This is Shivam. I'm from Credowire. Credowire basically provides AI agent for talent assessment. My question. So first of all, great discussion from all the participants. My question again is on the hyper personalization for the large enterprise. Like you were talking about human touch and all, but how will it be possible for a large organization, maybe people having 1,000+ employees, that human touch and everything? How can it be possible for them actually? How?
So they will definitely add whatever I miss out, right? So I think you go to a TCS today or a HCL, I'm saying because of scale. You talked about large, right? It will come down to 20-member, 30-member teams only. So you know the army, right? Your name is Shivam. Shivam. So Shivam, you know why people join the army? Why? Correct. Patriotism. Serve the nation. Do you know why they stay there? Why do they stay in the army? Correct. Fantastic. Band of brothers. That is all there is to it. Band of brothers feeling no AI, no bot, no shit AI can create for you. You think you're going to sit with a few AI bots and have your lunch? You're going to confess your deepest things like he said, know about family? Chanceless. right? So that is why people stay or leave a company, right? Two things only why people stay or leave a company. One is quality of the work. Second is quality of the people we work with. One of the people is our manager. Others, of course, matter. Your colleagues also matter. So I think that's the key thing, right? People say, how I'm being managed. No, but if team members are really great, then thank God it's Monday. You're raring to go to work. So I'm saying all of these, AI and all of that, is just a tool. There's too much hype around it. 90% of the tools coming out are not AI tools. They're algorithm tools. You just put AI on top of it. Okay? The first algorithm thing that HR people got was Naukri. It came long back, boss. Right? Half of the things that are being pushed to HR heads are not AI stuff. AI is when big data is getting worked on a machine, and the machine is learning, which is ML, right? So big data's marriage with ML, the child that is born is AI. Or you want to give the blender thing, right? In a blender, I put big data and machine learning. The juice is AI, right? But then what kind of data I put in it, I have to determine as HR person. What kind of machine learning I need, I'll have to decide. The algorithms and all of that. So end of the day, it's up to us to do all of that. But honestly, there's no replacement for the band of brothers thing. And that's why we go and come to work. Otherwise, then it will be like homeschooling, replacing the regular schooling types. Everybody is sitting in some place and you're talking to machines.
Yeah. So just to share some more thought on this people side. So I'm Shivakumar, I'm from Sundaram Finance. Okay, so Bharat is my alumni from college also. It's also a company culture because we have people who work for 40 years, 35 years, 25 years, and 40% of our population is who has completed 15 years with the company. Okay, so it is the culture on how this value system is being percolated to the people. It's the trust between the employee and the system. Though I worked with different company, I rejoined the group because of the simple element that people have been taken care. They deliver. Even today, we are a market leader in certain segments, commercial vehicle, all those things. Okay, it's how we genuinely deal with people. There are a lot of initiatives. We bring in a lot of AIs. It's okay. Be very simple, genuine, and take care of them. I mean, respond to them. Okay, we have a liftman in the office, okay, which on rolls, even today. Okay, and that is the tradition. We have a lot of drivers. Okay, so it is very important how we value their life and as a person, how we support them is very important. So that's something is very special with Sundaram. I'm enjoying. Okay, so I get motivated to come to office on Monday morning. So that is one of the greatest success what I see. Comparing to the other organization where I worked. So it also revolves around the company culture and the simple way to treat people. So just a thought wanted to share. Thank you.
Sir, my name is Kumar. I am from Strides Pharma. So I wanted to complement one more information along with the Sasikumar. So it should start from the top and don't expect from the bottom. If top managers, the leader, CEO or the board members are following that, definitely the culture will follow. Otherwise, one person can spoil the entire culture. That's the thing. Thank you.
Okay. I'll add on. See, there is one person called as an industrialist, one person is called as businessman. So for any one of them, you require a HR who has to be empowering and empathetic. Then only both of these two people will have a success.
Hello, I know they're ringing the bell, but one last question. I'm Saramnan Devarajan. I head the talent acquisition with a company called Exocop. My question is to the topic. Nowadays, the Gen Zs are coming, right? So how important for companies to formulate policies where we can pick and choose the benefits? Not many companies has that option, right? So like a Gen Z person, if a Gen Z person joins our organization, Is there any option for them to pick and choose the benefit, which is not there, right? So how is it important for the organization to formulate and amend this?
But what is stopping you from creating that policy? You have identified the need.
I understand. Across the industry, I'm asking this question.
So at least, like I said, personally at Samunnati, the examples I gave, we have those options embedded. Though we may not have as many Gen Zs as, we want to have at this point of time, but we are preparing for the future. So I think, we should not be looking up to the industry benchmark. We should start our own, new, whatever. Yeah. So you should start your own culture and say, hey, I am now head of talent acquisition. You want me to attract so many Gen Zs, so I need these policy amendments. Let's discuss about why not, and I'm sure you will have a bunch of people who will be the policy advisors as part of the management team. We should not be looking up to industry benchmark and example, because that's a showstopper. Then you will find more reasons why not to have something than why build something. I want to be an industry leader. I want to do something one of its kind and first of its kind. Then it starts from me today. So let's not look for industry benchmarks, especially when it comes to compensation, benefits, multi-generational management. Let's be that leader, no? Let's set that example today so that others can follow. Sorry if I was very blunt, but
No, you are to the point. Thank you so much.
We all are available offline also.
No,
we can chat.
I was thinking of not asking this question.
With this.
It's a continuation of the question that he asked. So I thought of just asking. So my name is Ajinu. I work as an HR person in a company called Blue Binaries. And this is something to continuation of this. One size doesn't fit all. So if I look at my grandfather worked for 7 days in a week. My father worked for 6 days. He was a government servant. I work for 5 days. My son might work for 4 days in a week. And if you, I just want, it's not a question, I just want your opinion. If we introduce 4 days work from, 4 days working culture, and give an option to employees, if you work for 5 days, it's 9 hours, or 8 hours. If you work for 4 days, it is 10 hours. Will you give that flexibility to employees through your policy?
Let me take the question. You got to be happy if your son is ready to work for 4 days. The current generation, people are not ready to work for 4 days, and they would like to work only for a few hours. And it is based on your delivery, what you're going to be giving it to them. And you got to be very clear, what is that you're expecting out of the individual. And if it is not really interesting, I'm telling you, he will not even work for a couple of hours. So that's the kind of situation what we are.
What's your name?
Ajnu.
Aju, so I don't know how you picked up that 765. It's very interesting, right? It doesn't matter, I was in Singapore handling a 7-country portfolio for KLA, and there was a team that was struggling, and they all decided, the top management decided it was because of work-life balance. And so they wanted me to intervene and, give a solution and all of that. So I went inside, and then I like to do fishbone, 7-step problem solving. Differentiate the symptom from the problem. But I also told them I don't believe in work-life balance. This is what he said actually right now. He didn't say it in those words, but that is what he meant. See, there is no work-life balance when your work is so enjoyable. If you work 17 hours, you don't even feel like 1 hour. But when your work is screwed up completely, even half an hour feels like a complete, 1 year, 2 years. So it doesn't matter, right? So that is why for Gen Z, millennials and all of that, not only for them, even for us, it's very important that are we recreating the way we work? The output is important, but the how can always keep changing. And for Gen Z and millennials, never tell them how to do it. They get so pissed because there's nothing for them now, right? You're treating them like a goat or a mule, right? Which carries a load and go from point A to point B. That's not what they want to do. They want to be creative. They want to surprise you. So you got to allow them to surprise you. So you got to tell them the why is very important, the purpose motive that Simon Sinek so often talks about. So purpose motive is very important. Create a very compelling purpose motive and a very important mission statement and leave it at that. They'll surprise you. So it doesn't matter 4 days, 3 days. I think 4-day work week in Chennai was born maybe 2-3 years back. I don't know if you know of a company called Bero Systems. Currently where I work in Msys at ASV Chandelier Towers in Thorepakam, same building Bero was there. Bero was a 4-day work week. Right? There are few companies who follow the 4-day work week. There is a book called the 4-day work week. We might even go to 2 or 3 days. As long as your OKRs are met, it's pretty cool. Nobody bothers whether you do it in a day or thing. Because you have an annual goal, a quarterly goal. If it can be achieved with whatever days, it's fine.
Thanks, Bharat.
It all depends on industry to industry also. On a manufacturing unit, it is not possible. But, no, I'll tell you. Coming to that, McKinsey had one article. So it was like 4 days a week. So 2 shifts they do. Somebody from Monday to Wednesday or Thursday, and then from Thursday to Sunday there is another shift. So 2 different set of employees work. So it works, it depends on the nature of work, the quality of work, and trust me, if it is a 4 days work, the quality will, and that person will still work on a Sunday if he has not completed it. So it gives more responsibility on that person if he is working from home. So it depends. Interesting one. That 4, 7, 6, and 5. So this is my takeaway for next roundtable. Thanks all of you.
Thank you so much everyone for the interactive and insightful session. I would like to call Mr. Vivek Vijayan from Cognizant to do the felicitation.